タジオジブリ最新作発表会見を始めたいと思います。
何しろ彼昭和16年前なんで、この戦争ってものをね避けて通れない。その矛盾の中で生きた人なんですよ、やっぱり宮崎駿っていう人は。要するに自分の好きなものが引き裂かれてるんですよ。一方で戦争の兵器でしょ。で一方で戦争反対でしょ。なんで自分みたいな人間ができたんだろうっていうのをね。
How is someone like him even possible? That's Toshio Suzuki, producer of nearly all of Studio Ghibli's films and lifelong friend of Hayao Miyazaki, speaking at a press conference. It's 2013 and production is nearly complete on Studio Ghibli's latest release, The Wind Rises. The film is pinned to be the magnum opus in director Hayao Miyazaki's lifetime of work. It's also rumoured to be his final film. As he's working on the storyboard for the film, Miyazaki struggles, and has been struggling for a long time, with drawing the aeroplane at the centre of The Wind Rises, the A5M Zero.
かっこよく描きたく描いてはいけないという思いと、
Miyazaki's father owned Miyazaki Airplane, which manufactured rudders for World War II fighter planes, and so his family was comparatively well off during the final years of World War II. But Hayao would spend the first years of his life under the cloud of war. This left a lasting impression on him, which can be seen throughout all aspects of his work. Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki are impossible to disassociate from one another. Miyazaki directed the studio's most successful features, and though Ghibli has released great films from other directors, Ghibli is undoubtedly Miyazaki's studio. His films likewise are impossible to disassociate with the man himself. His fingerprints mark every scene, more so than most directors of animation or live action. Filmmakers and scriptwriters when starting off are taught to always follow the most basic premise: write about what you know. Animation, by its very nature, is a medium by which you are encouraged to stretch, mould, or even break that premise. Miyazaki chooses to stretch it to its very edge by taking what he knows and moulding it with what he predicts and what he imagines. Miyazaki is staunchly anti-war. He famously refused to attend the 2003 Academy Awards when Spirited Away was nominated and won for Best Animated Feature because of America's involvement in the Iraq War.
Spirited Away, Hayao Miyazaki. The Academy congratulates Hayao Miyazaki and accepts this on his behalf.
Pacifism is a constant message throughout all of Miyazaki's films. Ashitaka in Princess Mononoke wishes for peace, despite living in a warmongering country. Shita and Patsu in Castle in the Sky attempt to avert the control of the titular castle for use as a weapon of mass destruction. Porco Rosso's only somber moment is above the clouds, underneath all the planes and pilots that have perished. Daisuke Akimoto quotes Koji Okuda and describes Porco Rosso as anti-war propaganda. Miyazaki himself seemed to struggle with the change of tack for the direction of Ghibli, saying Porco Rosso was a foolish film and wasn't for kids. Though he seems to be ignoring his own legacy, since before Studio Ghibli was even formed, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind was evidently an anti-war film. Nausicaa herself attempts to defuse the warring factions. The hellish giant warriors, which are the catalyst for war in the film, serve as living embodiments of the devastation caused by nuclear war. Though his characters often have to engage in violence or fight, peace is always portrayed as a preferable option. As Dan Sanchez says, true victory comes not from the conquest of one war belligerent by another, but by both simply choosing to cease to fight, having seen the futility of the war, thanks to the exploits of the heroes. This through line is no accident. In The Wind Rises, perhaps Miyazaki's most anti-war film, this moral conundrum comes to a head. Jiro Horikoshi, the film's protagonist, like Miyazaki, is captivated by the beauty of aerospace engineering, yet, by nature of the time he is living in, must design planes for war. Jiro wishes for a world where planes were made for their simple beauty rather than becoming part of the industrial war machine. Miyazaki calls them cursed dreams. Jiro's imagined mentor, Caproni, poses the question, would you rather live in a world with pyramids or without? In other words, is the suffering endured worth their creation? Miyazaki and Jiro both ultimately choose the pyramids.
かっこよく描きたくないとはいけないという思いと、でもかっこよかったんだっていうのはどうしたらいいんですか。